Chapter 6, we're going to take a look at. Chapter 6 was our directions chapter, and it gave us a number of concepts, one of which we'd seen before, which was to do something and evaluate or check out how something happens. It's a very hard thing to translate into English. The closest I can get is if we do the verb in the te form plus mimasu, and I say something like tabete mite kudasai. Please taste it and see what you think. But we use these for a huge number of situations. Anything where you're going to try to do something, or you're going to do something and then see how it goes. That's maybe another way to think about it. To do something and then see how it goes. だからね, I usually say, partner to hanashite mite kudasai. Talk to your partner and see how it goes. See what that outcome is. So you can use this for a lot of different things. It's a great level up to add in. And as always, to remember, it's the mimas that's going to determine kind of what you're doing. Whether it's mite kudasai, please do this, or it's mitai desu, I want to do this, or it's mina kereba narimasen, or I must do this. It is always that controls it. I was talking with my grade 10s about the verb in the te form, and really the te form, as they know, is just a little set of hands that reaches out and grabs onto something, and it's the something that it always grabs onto that makes the meaning. So it carries the idea of eat, but the final meaning is always determined by what it grabs onto at the very end. And so it's always with verbs in the te form, it's always the next piece that does the work. だからね, tabete kudasai, because kudasai is that idea of please do something, then it becomes please eat. Okay? The other thing that we saw in this particular chapter is something called the natural if or when. It's the only way I can think of describing it. This is an if or when that you use when the outcome, what happens, is totally out of your control. And I think the best way to think about it is something like, go down the road and turn left, and when you do, you'll see a fire station on the right. Like the fire station isn't going to move. Like that's something sort of out of your control. The other way to think of a natural if, which is just made with the plain present and to, is like Banff iku to yama o miru koto ga dekimasu. If you go to Banff, you can see mountains. It's like impossible to go to Banff and not see mountains. We use it in direction giving because we say so suru to. Having followed all of my great instructions, Ginko wa hidari gawa ni arimasu. The bank will be on the right. The left. I just made a mistake. The bank will be on the left. The bank hasn't got up and moved overnight. Okay? And that's that idea of a to. So this is an if. You can always substitute if or when. When you do that, the bank will be on the left. If you do that, the bank will be on the left. But this is not something that we call hypothetical. Hypothetical, if I had $1 million, I would, be rich, but I don't have $1 million. So this is something that is naturally occurring. It's out of your control. Okay. The other thing we saw in directions was to take time. How long does it take? And this was a revisit of taking time that we looked at in Japanese 10. There is a separate take time video up on YouTube, but this is the idea of kakarimasu. And remember, kakarimasu means to require time or to require money, in the sense of how much is it going to cost me. So when we use this, the key is that the gurai is in there, and that's how you always know you're counting time. For 10 minutes, for an hour, for a year, for a month. Remember that when we count time, generally we know we're counting time because we're adding that character there, the kan, after the unit of time. But we don't after minutes. So in a sense, it's the gurai that tells you you're counting time. This is a favorite multiple choice question. We'll give you something like hachiji, and there will be a blank, and then we'll have something like ne mashita. いいですね. And we'll fix it so that the only option you can pick is 8時間ぐらい. We may say 8時まで, no, sorry, 8時goro isn't going to work because 8時goro needs the ni. So always when you're looking for counting time, you're looking for a kana na gurai, or minutes, you're just looking for gurai. That's another favorite multiple choice. 10分 blank kakarimasu. And we say, what do we put in there? Kan gurai, gurai. What is it going to be? That's a definite one. The other thing that we saw in directions is the idea of the use of O. And this was a new use for O. So anytime you used the following things, you had to use that. If you said demasu, dete kudasai. If you had, I'm going to switch over here, masugu, ite kudasai, masugu iku. That took an O. Watarimasu. Where you do the turning is there. いいですね. Oh, sorry, watarimasu is over. ごめんね. Magarimasu. To turn at. いいですね. So stay along. To sugi. Oh, I'm tote. There it is. Torimasu. I'm having a hard time with this one today. Torimasu. And through. To sugite. To sugimasu. Anytime you're going out of something, over something, around something, along something, past something, or through something, it gets the O. The only other signal you need in giving directions is ni. And the ni is only for a change in direction. And I used to remember wherever your knees go, this direction or that direction, that's what gets the ni. All the others are O. So this is a favorite multiple choice. We like to say to you, tsugi no kado blank, hidali blank, magatte kudasai. And you have to pick the signals that go in there. Okay? All right? Okay.